All right, the Detroit Lions just found another huge steal that I think is going to get a lot of playing time. It's going to be a really big part of the Lions season. Um, Again, we're done with OTAs, we're done with minicamp. We got a little break, and now we start training camp here in a minute. And Natane Moody is a guard that really is a big piece of what the Lions are going to do because remember the Lions need interior offensive line help in depth because there's a few things that are going to happen, and that is Frank Ragnow, we know, is just going to at some point get injured. Graham Glasgow's older. So right there, it's like, okay, then the other guy, Zeitler, is older as well. So our three main guys in the interior offensive line are older. So we need to find depth. We need to find guys that can play because they're gonna need to. So this Moody guy's got an interesting story. He's been in the league for 4 seasons and played 22 games, primarily at right guard, but sneaking in some first team reps. His balance and hand placement look impressive. And by the way, this is an article about top takeaways from the Detroit Lions minicamp. He appears to be well ahead of the undrafted free agents, but not quite ahead of Christian Mahogany, but ahead of Awasika, that our guard that played a little bit last year. So if you look at that, it's Mahogany and Moody would be the guys, which would be huge because if Frank goes out, Graham Glasgow would go to center, and then we need a guard, and right, the whole thing. So it's like, okay, this is huge because we know Mahogany. He was drafted in the 6th round. We really like him, but Moody was picked up in the as a free agent, and his story is incredible. So remember, he was out in he played at Fresno State because he was born in Hawaii. He's 6'3", 315. He goes to the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, but something happens and he ends up transferring to Fresno State. But he's had a ton of injuries. So he had an Achilles injury. He had a Liz Frank foot injury in 2019 and 2020. He forgoes his senior season. And so he basically doesn't play that much, but he's got the size and strength that he goes to the combine. At the combine, he had the best bench press, right? So it's like, okay, this guy's strong. He's 6'3", 315, 44 reps on the bench press. So he's drafted in the 6th round by the Denver Broncos. But he gets an injury, and then he's off the roster. Then he comes back in 2022, and then 2022 he goes to the Raiders, and he played a little bit with both of those squads, but then the Lions just kind of quietly sneak in and pick him up this offseason. And it's like, okay, that's just exactly what the Lions need. And so huge. Okay, now some other things as well. Some other takeaways that I think we got to love if you're a Lions fan, because it's talking about players who deserve more love. And that's where we got that list here. Levi's another one. We keep talking about it, but I mean, the thing about him that's really awesome is that he's setting up a fantastic comeback story, and he's fixing to be more than that. If he can keep his pad level down more consistently, he's going to be a threat for playing a lot more time as a D lineman, capable of playing anywhere from inside to outside. And so it's like, okay, that would be huge as well. And then, man, if you're a Lions fan, there's a couple things you got to be really excited about. It's like, okay, come on, really. There's no holes. There's no question marks. Very few question marks. I mean, is Terrion Arnold going to be the guy that we think? Like, that's a question. He's going to be good, but is he going to be like super good? I don't know. Right out of the gates. That's one question. What other questions do you have? Put them in the comments. But can our aging interior offensive line stay healthy? That's a question. That's it. Who's going to be our 3rd, 4th wide receiver, right? I mean, that is the type of questions we're asking versus you look around the league. I mean, the Denver Broncos, it's like they don't have a wide receiver. The Chargers are trying to figure out if they have a wide receiver room. I mean, you can go team by team all across the league. Some teams don't have this. They don't have that. We just have everything. And it makes it really nice to know that we're in good shape. Now, another thing I thought was interesting, I'd love to know your thoughts. There's been a couple rumors out there about some blockbuster trades, and one of them has to do with Hendon Hooker. He keeps getting brought up, and I don't know. It's like, just give him. I don't think he's worth much right now, but I also think he could be. But teams are kind of settled in, and so it'd be hard for someone to make a deal for Hooker. But I'd trade him. See ya. Let's go, because there's so many veteran good quarterbacks out there still. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. Detroit added intriguing pieces to its defensive line. Now another one, Marcus Davenport, Matteo Betts, remember him, CFL's most outstanding defensive player, and James Houston is coming back. So it's like, okay. And you got Josh Pascal. You've got players. So it's like, well, what could happen? So Houston is absolutely worth holding on to as the Lions search for a production opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. So Hendon Hooker and James Houston, both guys kind of keep getting brought up. I'm like, nah, no. We need it. Like, so what do you trade him for? Like a draft pick or something? It's like, no, we need a player on the field making plays, and we gotta find it with James Houston, Betts, Davenport. Like, who is it going to be? So I'm curious to see what the Lions end up doing there, but feel good about it. Either way, I feel a lot better than I did. Geez, just a couple years ago. I mean, just a couple months ago. Whereas, like, dude, we need cornerback help. We need interior defensive line. And we need a defensive end. And we get all those things with Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Terrion Arnold, Carlton Davis. We nail all of the parts that we need to complete the team. Less question marks. Let's go. What are we doing? Let's stop with all of we don't have any question marks. So every team got better in the NFC North. So do the Lions. That's why I think the Lions win the NFC North again. It's like crazy. So again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're new to the channel, we touch on all Detroit Lions. And so if you haven't subscribed, you've watched a few videos, just hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out a lot. We've hit 20,000 subs and really having a lot of fun with it. Also, we've been talking about summer things to do over on the west side. Michigan Adventure. When's the last time you've been to Michigan's Adventure? Let me know in the comments. Another one is, man, anywhere on the west side, Grand Haven, South Haven. Oh, we go down St. Joe. Man, it's just beautiful right now. That whole time, I mean, you just you take it for granted. You look at Lake Michigan, it looks like an ocean. It's fresh water. It's like, this is great. This is incredible. It's sandy. So let me know your thoughts. If you're getting over to the west side, if you live over here, if you're vacationing, you cannot beat coming over west side of the state, hanging out. The deck. I've already talked about the deck. I just learned about this year. That's why I'm excited about it. Muskegon, the deck. Check that out too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.